The technology building is, I would say, 10% of the total time, right? The problem is mindset. The problem is talking to people. The problem is showing value to business head. And there are so many business heads you have to talk to.
I think vibe coding will extinct the coders.
Same will happen in future. No generative AI foundation model can guarantee accuracy of 100%. But if you do not have system level thinking, if you do not understand the concepts, if you don't understand what the compiler is going to do, this is like I was saying, you're running a Ferrari without knowing what is it doing, it will crash, right? I think this generative AI is like a smart junior engineer. If people who leave mental exercises, they stop reading, leave everything to AI for them to do, not even write a single line, there was a brain damage. You should be the master of AI, you should not be the slave of AI.
Welcome to Unscripted with Archie Jackson. Today I have a very special guest. He's visionary in AI and quantum computing, executed multiple AI and quantum computing projects at one of the largest organizations in India. He's Gaurav Duggal, SVP, Jio Platforms. Welcome, Gaurav. Welcome to Unscripted with Archie Jackson. Really delighted to have you here today.
Thank you, Archie. Thanks for this call.
Pleasure. Let me quickly start off with your journey at first. So, you have been a complete transformational leader at this point in time. But how was Gaurav young in terms of academics and then your journey?
All right. So my journey, if I go back, I went to boarding school way early in my life. I went in 8th standard. That actually I give a lot of credit to because that helped me build my profile way early. I became a lot independent. I came out of house, and wherever after that I went, I could succeed in all my endeavors. So after that I went to engineering college, which I chose to go to. Then I and the boarding school was Sainik school, so there discipline was main thing, right? We used to do a lot of physical exercise. There was not much of emphasis on mugging up stuff, right? You need to understand and learn and do it because there's disciplined learning, disciplined play, disciplined exercises, sports. So limited time for everything, right? So you need to manage between the means you have, right? And that is what also we do as an entrepreneur, as a CIO, that you as a student learn all these things. And I would request all the students to learn how to manage in the means they have. And that's the basic line for all your life, right? Then I went to engineering. After that, I went there also. I was a topper. I was a topper in school as well. And then I started doing job. I went as a research scientist in Dassault system in Germany. Then I came back. I wanted to do a startup in India. Could have continued in Germany, but I thought I want to give back to India and community. So I came back. I joined a startup. Grew fast. Then I went as an India head for Core.ai. And then I wanted to build something on my own. I built a solution for Jio, Reliance Jio, and which got acquired in 2018. So we were the first one to build online digital Kaun Banega Crorepati. If you go back before 2017, there was a no word called play along in the OTT dictionary. We introduced that. We got 3 patents and 30 million people played on Kaun Banega Crorepati online. And that's a journey we are very proud of. I met Amitabh Bachchan during those days. That was my dream come true. And then I joined Jio as a CEO of a subsidiary. I helped evaluate few startups when they were acquiring 2120 on technical evaluation. Then I got merged inside Jio because they were raising funds in 2021. And since then, I've been SVP inside Jio, a part of New Age leadership. I handle a lot of things inside Jio, which includes all the subscriptions which you see for Jio Telco, Jio Mobility, BlackRock, retail, all the loyalty platform which is on blockchain, all the agentic platforms which you see on MyJio, Hello Jio, which is text and voice both. We're replacing agentic AI solution for all the call centers. So any new age tech which includes agentic behavior, IoT, blockchain, is primarily developed by my team. And high scale gamifications, like if you play on Hotstar, IPL is coming through, all the gamifications is run by my team. So yeah, and as of today also I'm a hands-on coder. One of the things which I lately did, 2021 I released my first book, which was Metaverse Simplified. Now in 2025 I've released another book which is on agentic AI at risk. So this is my new thing. And I've done PhD from BITS Pilani, and that's for artificial intelligence on satellites. So
Amazing, amazing, Gaurav.
that's
I
what it
mean,
is.
a load full of knowledge, wisdom, and
Thank you.
wealth of knowledge. In fact, so with Geo, it's a large organization. And how does transformation happen? And how did you manage getting transformation executed across such large platforms?
So there is a lot of legacy which comes through, especially on the telco side of it. What you mentioned is absolutely right. Telco, retail, these are large platforms. I know that retail, when we were transforming, it was still run using SAP, and a lot of large retailers across world use SAP as one of the platforms. Now that is legacy, right? And you need new age agentic behaviors on hyperscale retailers, right? And omni-channel. So
Mhm.
this is something which took a lot of time. Especially I can mention loyalty. This is a loyalty which runs which is called R1 in Reliance. My team built it in couple of months. It's a one of its kind because it's running one of the largest blockchain platforms, right? It has 300 million users. We had to migrate all existing loyalty points of 300 million users overnight on a blockchain, right? And that was a discovery or an invention in itself. To do that, I don't know anything around the world who have done 300 million migration overnight without a single failure, right? 2 years, obviously, multiple business units, multiple discussions, value to be shown to the business heads as well as the technical folks, because a lot of times people are very guarded. People don't
Correct.
know whether this will help them, even though they know they will get a lot of help, but they're guarded because they feel that we are uh, going on their toes, and their kingdom is getting disrupted. So that happens. Next is subscription engine. We replaced the whole subscription engine across telco, fiber. Again, it took 2 years. The technology building is, I would say, 10% of the total time, right? The problem is mindset. The problem is talking to people. The problem is showing value to business head. And there are so many business heads you have to talk to make sure that this technology gets adopted. And the lot of frustration comes in between, but at the end we all look for that light at the end of the tunnel, and keep the team motivated for them to continue to push the cause forward. Yeah, but I think what the scale Geo can provide, I am still mesmerized with it, because all my platforms are like hundreds of millions people are using. May it be the Hello Geo, GeoCS, which is being used by 400 million people. May it be the loyalty platform, which is 300 to 400 million people. Subscription, 600, 700 million people use it across telco, retail, fiber, now BlackRock. Um, Amazing. Viacom, right? The kind of scale which Geo provides, as a kid in me who wanted to come code in the child, right? I used to go to computer rooms, and when I was very young, I wanted to code, and my first program I wrote in BASIC, right? I daily get excited about that. If 500 million people are using my solution, right? That's something which I cannot get from any other large organization around the world. I'm saying it's much bigger than the total population of US,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. And in fact, I mean, I'm really amazed to see the transformation, especially from the quantum AI across geo platforms, because at scale, when you see that, getting the vines from all the business units and getting them onto a consensus it's in itself a mammoth task. And how did you manage that? Was there kind of a tabletop exercises that you used to do, or how did you get the binds and execute the project? Because from what I could see and understand, the projects have executed throughout without any drops or delays, because of which, I mean, the implementations are all there in public, and there is a very, very rapid evolution of Jio platforms across.
I think there's a lot of hard work which goes. A lot of people will think building technology is hard. A lot of software engineers feel a lot of pride about building something innovative. I think what I learned when we did the transformation across Geo is not technology building is a small problem to solve, right? We all feel excited that we can do wonders, but doing a new age technology of quantum or blockchain or agentic AI, it's easy compared to getting them adopted across businesses. Like any startup which comes and says, so I worked in startup, I led startups, convincing a new external customer that this technology will revolutionize your bottom line, top line. These kind of exercises we do, and the same thing we'll have to do inside. Like if you if you're working, everybody has their own hats, they have their own goals. Like for an example, I talk to a geo head and say, this loyalty platform is going to bring revolution to you. He says, but I have a sale coming, right? I have next month a Diwali sale, or I have a New Year sale. I cannot disrupt my business because you just wanted a transformation, right? Um, it's the same. You sell outside, you sell inside. The only difference is uh, because you are in the same umbrella, uh, you might get more points to discuss. You might get more airtime. You might be able to sit across the table uh, more number of times compared to an external customers. External customers is not binded to give you more time. Here there is a little bit ease on it, but at the end of it, if you're not showing the value, if you're not able to say how his business is going to get revolutionized with whatever you are trying to bring on the table, absolutely people are ruthless because they have their own targets. Until unless they meet their targets for this quarter, this year, they
Yeah.
will be screwed, right? So that is where the same challenges are there across board. It is in-house or an external customer, and I sometimes feel it's a good exercise for my team because I tell them it's a great stuff. We might have for certain businesses taken a little more time, but for certain businesses it became easy. Overall, we were on time or before time for all transformation businesses, but uh, it's a great learning for people to convince and then use that learning to go outside and convince the external people to use what we have built and prove that it is running on 400 500 million user base, which is rare, which is very rare, because this experience even startups don't have. I built software, like when I was building core.ai, um, my biggest challenge is I can build software overnight at that time before agentic or LLM behaviors, right? Uh, but how do I convince a Citibank in Singapore to probably use my solution? They say, no, no, it's not good, it's whatever it is. And continue to convince them was more harder and get the user base, because at the end of it, I've built it in a lab. I've not used it at scale of Geo. If it's
Exactly.
not working at production for 100 million users, for me to now go and say that loyalty system is unique because 200 million, 300 million people are using, we have migrated overnight 300 million people, it's very easy because people think, and we have been talking to people inside outside country for them to use the solutions which we have built in house, and it's very easy. Like now people, they see the numbers and they trust, they don't need more validation than what you have got already inside,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So it's a learning exercise.
In fact, what I could see is the mindset of the organization, if it is irrespective of being a large organization at scale, driving the agile mindset with a startup execution mindset for respective platform execution. So that all together combined brings quick results. So yeah, really interesting to know. Gaurav, you are a, I would say, an encyclopedia of AI.
Okay.
And not okay, I know that. and
Thank you.
and viewers would definitely know, because you have written books which are quite in depth.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about both the generative AI and agentic AI. So what are the few key projects that you have executed both in the generative AI space and the agentic AI space?
Okay, so agentic AI is a new thing. It's, I would say, the next version of the usage of generative AI. I would say generative AI came as a big thing when ChatGPT 2 years ago became the forefront news, where people started using ChatGPT to generate more text initially. Then it became images with stability diffusion and voices and things like that, right? And videos. Um, so initially, we used generative AI for us to solve textual customer support bots. Right there, we used generative AI. We fed them with information. We had FAQs and websites and things like that, and in multilingual way for all 12 top Indian languages to handle customer request. Before this generative AI came in, we had presumably predefined language assets and answers, right? Probabilistically, we were throwing languages and answers without creating them on the fly, right?
Mhm.
That is what we used to behave earlier before generative AI came in. Second thing which we started was we have an Engage platform in Hotstar where we started using generative AI to create assets and images for people to play with. Right, that is one thing we started a couple of years ago, one and a half. Agentic AI is a new thing, right? And agentic AI, I would say, is the new behavior in which one can create agents, right? What does agent have? If I break it down, so the world is divided into deterministic and probabilistic behaviors, right? A deterministic behavior is if this then that. That means if I have to take a example of a car is driving, a signal is red, it has to stop. Its signal is green, it has to run. There is no probability in it. It's a behavior which is very deterministic. If signal red, do this. If signal green, do that. So agentic behavior combines in my head both the things, right? There is a workflow which is deterministic, and there is mental models or mental decisions one takes, right? With generative AI coming in, because generative AI says I can learn from your past decisions and build something new.
Mhm.
That is what generative AI came about, right? I can learn from FAQ and create an answer on the fly, rather than you figuring out yourself either semantically or by probability to find an answer for a query. I can create it for you, provided I learn from your past.
Correct.
um, Same thing, the decision making can be done by running from a mental model in the past. This is what agents do. So agentic behaviors are new behaviors. We have started using it for, let's say, call center.
Mhm.
So if you talk to our Hindi call center 198 number, nearly 10 odd circles, it is live, where instead of a physical agent, there will be a digital agent which will talk to you, which will resolve all your queries, which will connect to our backend workflow, deterministic workflow, which has ticketing system, etc., etc., and also give you an option that if you're still not satisfied, I can connect you to a physical guy. By doing that, we are able to increase our NPS by more than 60%, and from what it was for only physical agents. We are able to reduce this mental load or redundant work which humans used to do by more than 50 to 60%, right? We intend to do it more. We are trying to make our latencies quite low in terms of voice and have multiple languages, Tamil and South Indian languages. So that is something which we want to do. And there are multiple agentic behaviors we are still working on retail, on finance, but I would say this is what it is. If I explain to anybody, agent is a combination of probability and deterministic. I tell businesses run on deterministic behavior, they never run on probabilistic behavior. If some things have to be produced at certain time, it has to be deterministic. A business cannot say that it can 90% work and 5% cannot work. So you need to very well define, and there is a confusion going around the world where people say everything should have a token, everything should have an LLM, everything should have a generative AI. I differ. This is a hype. People should look at what fits right and go more towards deterministic behaviors than probabilistic behaviors. That is,
Completely makes sense. Yeah,
yeah,
and in fact, Gaurav, the fundamental, the core of AI and even quantum is data. An organization at such a large scale, there is a data sprawl. Definitely, data sprawl. The shadow data, the dark data is there. So, how did you manage making sure the models are trained on right non-poison data?
right. So a couple of things. We get a lot of data. So Geo is, I would say, the largest data mine or data gatherer in India right now. Um, or or we hold that data very securely because we know that there is a lot of privacy involved in it. We know that there is a lot of things which people don't consent to, right? So we are very, we can say we are data guardian for people, right? um, but we anonymize, right?
Mhm.
At the end of it, we anonymize. Second is, I'm very clear with my team. A lot of people get this excitement that we can download, and I talk about this in my book also. We can download any model and any data from anywhere around world, and quickly show a POC and an MVP and say that okay, this can go to production. We are very clear that it has to go through proper DevSecOps, in which we understand the challenges. Suddenly, you download a Chinese model for that example. It might have a time Trojan. You don't know. The data might start leaking in some hashed form to some Chinese web server, and slowly all your business data is out of your country, right? This is very high risk, which people are unaware of. Second is the models can be poisoned at certain times. So it has to go through a pure cycle of understanding what you're doing, when you're doing, how you're doing. Nothing can go to production. Second is the data, right? A lot of times, so we get a lot of queries, right? And I know that now the queries are not just coming from physical guys. Sometimes agents are trying to do the same thing. So you can think that you are great in AI, but I can tell you there are well-funded Trojans and ransomware running generative AI, agentic AI.
Right.
They have a reward against whatever they do. They will charge you bitcoins for if they crack you on your systems. So they continue to bombard you with a lot of garbage, which cannot be used for training, which should not be used for training, right? Which we should be very careful about. Um, so this is something which we clean up, in our data engineering cycle. We also get a lot of false alarms.
Mhm.
So we mask all our identity. That means uh, any APIs, if you see, it is having a pseudo identity. Any cross-platform communications have pseudo identity. So sometime back, a year back, a false alarm came in, and somebody had done some prompt injection in my Hello Geo bot and said that I know the identity of a user. I can hack the identity of a user and I can reveal it to the world and things like that. And I need BTC or
Mhm.
something, ransomware, right? So, and then I said, okay, let's accept you have it. Can you show me the identity? Just one example. And we figured out it was a virtual pseudo identity, which I anyway time it out, right? It is not the real identity of anybody, right? So I said, okay, then keep this identity, and if you want what you do it, right? But it was a false alarm, but we take everything very seriously, right? So we have been doing this. Like, I remember I was in a AI conference today in Bharat Mandapam, and I saw a lot of people showing that how can you secure your databases by using pseudo identities. How can you do safety against prompt injection, agentic behaviors, and things like that. Our chairman is very clear that we need to be careful from day one, and touchwood, till now we have ensured that there is no security breach till date for us in all our solutions. Either it has been agentic behaviors or generative behaviors, or training our own models, or using open source models in production, have gone through so much of vetting, either through compliance by physical checks or through automated pipelines. But we are very careful about it. even the data cleaning is also very guarded. We are very careful. Nobody has access to a lot of data. It's all encrypted at multiple layers.
Mhm. You talked about masking of data and encryption. So, uh, is Geo adopting the homomorphic encryption per se, or differential privacy inclusions?
We already have differential privacy inclusions. We are already, like I said, we hash everything.
Mhm.
Nobody has a direct access of anybody's PII data,
Right.
right? We even encrypt on the wire on top of our protocols, right? TLS protocols. Also, we encrypt a secondary, like the data, apart from encryption at rest and data encryption, database encryptions, we encrypt specific data also, so that to open also there is a safety check required, right? And for people to communicate across different systems and APIs, we use pseudo identities. So I think that all, there's a lot more to it, uh, which secures and guards us not from the external threat, but sometimes the threats can be internal also, and sometimes threats can be ignorant guys also, right?
Right.
A lot of times people are ignorant about what is happening, right?
The
A
insider
small,
threats.
yeah, a small childish behavior can leak a lot of things via Trojan, right? And from your laptop or from a cloud server. So you have to be very careful about it. So yeah.
Absolutely. And in fact, Gaurav, let's switch gears into quantum, because I know that's another expertise area of yours. So let's talk about quantum. What are the projects that you worked on in this area?
So quantum, especially quantum algorithms, is an interest area. I read a lot. So quantum physics, how the quantum physics has changed this binary world. Obviously, I would say right now the quantum chips or quantum physics is at the stage where the binary chips in silica world were in 1960s or
Mhm.
70s, right? Obviously, there is a fast revolution which is happening. Google has announced, Microsoft has announced that they have deployed quantum servers on um, their cloud, and they are giving quantum secure TLS, all the HTTPS certificates. I am thinking that what Google is doing, all the banks and all the network providers will have to start doing in a year or two, 2027, 28. Um, what we have done, we have gotten a few chips of quantum with qubits running outside our data centers. We have to use RNGs, QRNGs, which are quantum safe for us to safeguard our certificates, right? So that is something which we have proactively done. We are quantum safe 5G network, right?
Mhm.
Um, this is a practical large implementation of quantum. Outside these commercial projects, I would say more or less, it's been uh, practically implementing some genetic behavior and healthcare implementation, because quantum gives you a lot more power and a compute, which a silica will take a lot of time. Nowadays, GPU is trying to increase the computation
Mhm.
um, for us to understand genetic behaviors, but quantum is 100x better than what this thing can give, right? So the speed of algorithm execution.
Indeed.
So uh, I try to do that non-commercially. There is a friend of mine. I did a technology leadership program with MIT. So there's a friend of mine from Brazil. So we work together on some educational project where healthcare is a domain for us to build some algorithms on quantum, because we believe quantum is just knocking the door. It will become mainstay. It will not be a personal compute. It will always be a cloud compute, uh, but the power it brings will break all traditional algorithms. It will break all your genetic algorithms, right, which we are able to solve with supercomputers. So that will be 100x faster or 1000x faster than what our silica computers can give.
Indeed.
So we do that.
And then Gaurav, curious to know, like, what made you write two books? What was the inspiration behind writing your first book and now the second book?
Metaverse Simplified, I wrote in 21, 22. Um, metaverse was a big thing. It was going to become the new surface. A $1 trillion company changed its name for building a metaverse social network.
Right.
I strongly believe it will continue to be a big thing. It has just taken a backseat because of the generative AI and agentic AI, which has come the forefront. Uh, I always wanted to give back to the community. So I have a blog running, namely ihashout.com. I used to write in way back 25 years ago as a fresher. I used to write about technology. I used to write about that time. I used to code in C++. I used to write the various C++ problems in it. At that time, it used to be hosted in Blogspot. Wrote some blogs on it. I'm more curious to write on technology. And Then metaverse came about, and I felt metaverse is going to change everything. And there are a lot of challenges in metaverse also, which people were not thinking, right? Their identity crisis, the problem with the new gadgets which are coming in, the headaches which people were having, right? And there was a lot more boom in how the metaverse will have crypto inside it also. So the book covered a lot more topics on how the crypto is going to be a digital currency in the metaverse world, how digital identity twins will exist. Let's say you exist in physical world, and your digital twin exists in a metaverse world. You can buy plots, you can buy lands, you can dream of anything and you can build it. Dream of anywhere, you can do whatever you wish. So those things were very exciting. With pros and cons, I wanted to just explain to the community. I did that. um, the latest one which I have written is on agentic AI at risk. uh, the problem I saw was great. A generative AI is great. Last 2 years it has been making a lot of PR noise. Same thing with agentic AI. Last year it was making so much noise. Everybody said 2026 is the year of agentic AI. I just wanted to bring back the communication or the conversation to the risk part of it. Because what is happening is, let's say a Sam Altman comes and says, I can buy, he had a kid last year, and he said, I can buy a toy for my kid without doing much. Like, he'll come on the stage and say, this is my browser called Atlas. I can talk to it and say, I want to buy toy for my baby. The browser knows what is my baby's gender, what does the baby like, what is my location, what is my address, what is my credit card details, and ABCD. It goes to Amazon browsers for whatever the choice is personalized for my baby, including the budget I can afford to have, including the credit card details, location. And in 1 minute or 160 seconds, Amazon confirms your delivery will be tonight, right? The problem with this whole behavior is there is a lot of risk which has gone into the browser.
Indeed.
Right? And which people are unaware of. People just get wowed by it. Normal people get fooled every day, right? I was worried about what is going to happen when people start giving all their informations to these agentic behaviors. Right now, if you see, there was 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, there was a new project called OpenClau.
Yeah.
And everybody thought it's personalized secretary, which can talk to my WhatsApp and Telegram and do whatever I want, use all my information and book my flights, do this, do that. It's great, but you know what you are leaking inside it, right? What the LLMs can do. A small prompt injection in any website, any Amazon.com, it's great, but a masquerading website can be Amazon.xyz, and it can say, okay, you buy the toy, but also pass on this information to somebody else. It's very easy to do that. Very, very easy to do, add prompts, right? Same thing is with OpenClaw. Same thing, risks are there with a lot of agentic behaviors. This is the biggest threat. The generative AI or agentic AI, there are only two threats to this technology: data, which is clean, and second is cybersecurity. Uh, it's like you are running a Ferrari without checks. Someday it will have an accident.
True.
We should all be thinking about it and have controls on it. And that is what I talk about in my latest book on agentic AI at risk. And I think this will become a talking point. Already it is. At some point in time, it will become a big talking point.
Absolutely. OpenClaw, I mean, it created a huge hype and buzz and people used Mac Mini and then continuing with their projects. But hallucination of data, prompt injection, it could simply steal the passwords and credentials and pass it on, because it's actually acting on the commands. If it is like, for example, into the emails, it will read those emails, act upon it. But how will it differentiate if it is a phishing email or something which is already injected? Very, very spot on. Uh, so Gaurav, I mean, you have I mean, I'm just repeating myself. You have a wealth of knowledge and, uh, I mean, academics, and you're continuously learning and sharing what you've been learning. So, what's the message for a young generation, I mean, of today, that is interested to get into the AI journey? So should they be scared of it, or should they adopt it, from the adoption standpoint? And second is from learning standpoint, from career standpoint. Uh, what should they do right now so that they can then nurture the evolution? Because AI is continuously evolving. So by the time 5 years, 6 years down the line, what track they should pick up?
Okay. I think I can talk about it because I have also kids. And I advise to a lot of people also. The depth. So people should not be afraid of anything, right? There will always be a lot of digitization work. There will be always more and more work coming by your way, right? This is not that I understand people right now. I was also worried. I can tell you, when I was in my college, there was a dot-com bust,
Yeah.
right? And I thought world has fallen apart. I have chosen the wrong branch because all the computer science grads are going to be jobless, right? Dot-com bust has happened. Nothing will survive, right? It was, I was new to the market. I was anxious. I was worried because all of us come from lower middle class, want to do something big, and education has been a great equalizer, right? And suddenly you see there is no end at the end of the tunnel. There is no light, and then you feel there is something wrong. But I can tell you very confidently, I've passed through all that. We used to initially write code in QBasic, C++, this, that. And we always thought if the languages advance, the lines of code to be written becomes 100, 1000, 110,000, and everything has gone like that. For last 20 years, I can tell you the lines of code. So we write nowadays in Node.js and Go and Rust. Uh, um, if you extrapolate that into QBasic or C++, it will be one line can be 1,000 lines, right? That is how the technology has evolved. Forget about generative AI, agentic AI, which has further taken it a layer above, right? But did the number of engineers required go down? Did the number of digitization which is required around the world go down? Did anything go down? No, it has only increased. The power has only helped the humans to do more, right? I strongly believe there is a lot more to be done. People should start investing more time in becoming sharper, get more depth, right? uh, so what will not survive is shallow, which was all the case, always the case, right? If you do not want to do the hard work and do not want to go into the depth, then there is a problem. The people who will go inside the depth and become more sharper, they will go, uh, maybe they will be more advanced than what we were 20 years ago, right? They will be more in demand than what we were 20 years ago. Right now building something has become so easy. When we started, building something would require 100 people. We cannot even think that you can build a full-fledged e-commerce platform, website, or anything without this team size and pros and this and that. Now everything is merging, right? You can have 5-member unicorn, right? And we see nowadays, I think the power is great. Go more in depth. The chances of you becoming a unicorn or learning faster than all past is very high. Um, and I would say, don't just become the a mugging guy, right?
Right.
Don't do that, because a lot of people, at least we didn't. One of the advantages, I tell you, for me and compared to the other folks is that because we had lack of time in our boarding school, we used to learn the concepts rather than mugging stuff, right? And that became a habit because we have no time, right? And this is something which I would ask people: don't just for the sake of passing exam do stuff, right? Understand, if your brain starts working that ways, you will start understanding more stuff, more concepts, and better your outcomes, rather than just to pass an exam I want to do something. Passing an exam is not going to change your life, right? uh, Going to an IIT is not going to change your life.
Correct.
Life is 60, 70 years. Going more in depth, understanding more, getting more disciplined, reading on a learning on a daily basis, understanding newer and newer concepts, going into more depth, you will you have your you will go to moon. Like you can go anywhere, right? but but yeah, so I think the students and the new guys, shouldn't be scared. Learn new stuff, get into habits, read more books, um, learn every day without thinking about all this noise that there will be no jobs, everything will be automated in this world. I think that kind of depression, anxiousness shouldn't be there. Their thought should be, I should build more habits and discipline. I think you'll pass through, and you'll pass through flying colors.
Totally agreed. In fact, there would definitely be something new. We have the prompt engineer opportunities, jobs that have evolved now. So definitely with AI, there would be more jobs, but maybe differently. Similarly, for example, like the CISOs, it seems to be that within the next couple of years, they would be evolving as chief trust officers versus the security officers. What are your views, Gaurav, about vibe coding? Do you think vibe coding, if done well, securely, will extinct the coders?
So when I'll give you an example, I'll say yes and no, but I'll give you an example. What is a coder or what is a software engineer? Software engineer is not just emitting some lines of code without understanding what's going on under the hood, right? When we started doing coding in C++, QBasic, we had to understand what the compiler is going to do. At the end of it, it is the machine code which is going to run on the
Right.
machines. When the C++ layer was replaced by a Node.js layer or a Go layer or a Rust layer, as I can tell you, we were not worried about pointers, references, concepts, and things like that. Node.js simplified that thing, and 1,000 lines of code became 100 lines of 10 lines of code. All of that happened, right? Mm, I would say vibe coding is taking to a new level, wherein instead of writing those 10, 20 lines of code, also now you can write an English prompt, which can write all that code which is required. But if you do not have system level thinking, if you do not understand the concepts, if you don't understand what the compiler is going to do, this is like I was saying, you're running a Ferrari without knowing what is it doing.
Correct.
It will crash, right? More requirement is for you because this power wants you to understand under the hood at some point in time. So I think this generative AI it's like a smart junior engineer, right? Which needs to be guided well, right? It's a powerful guy, but needs to be guided well. The guy who's operating this needs to know much more than what it used to, because at that time when you were cooking yourself, when you were hand coding yourself, you were in control. Right now, this is a smart engineer which you have delegated to, right? Until unless you know what is going to go under the hood, uh, it is it is a risk you are running on, right? And no generative AI foundation model can guarantee accuracy of 100%. It's a
Right.
probabilistic science, right? So you will have to be responsible for what is going to happen with that code when it runs, right? So vibe coding is good, it is powerful, but it doesn't mean that you don't understand what is going under the hood. You do not cannot replace architectural principles. You cannot replace system thinking. System thinking, architecture principles are very important, and more important nowadays who are vibe coders. Understand what is going under the hood. You will fly. This is more power to you, right? And vibe coding is going to stay or only grow. It is not going to
True.
stop, right? Nowadays, in my team also, I say everybody should emit 95% of the code by this smart engineer called Generative AI.
Mhm.
All our documentations, all our PRDs should be generated by this smart engineer, right? But uh, we should review what is going inside. We should review,
Correct.
spend time, maker checker, right? If the maker is your generative AI, you should be the checker. If you are forgetting that there should be a checker and you are not the maker, you are going to crash,
True.
right? So we want in my team, everybody should review the prompts which were used for it to generate code, generate document, read all the architecture documents which were created, understand the systems, then only it passes through. The review is more important than the actual doing stuff.
Absolutely. And in fact, uh, it's like, and in fact, if I look at it, there is also a ironical side as well, where the speed at which AI is coming towards people, people are overwhelmed with the adoption, and in fact, it's actually making people's interest so much inclined towards adoption. So I mean, there is no push needed to adopt AI. It's mostly like you get new engines like OpenClau. Now people are playing around with it. On the now the ironical side is, with such adoption, the cognitive ability of individual, that gradually, from where I see it, it reduces, because during the early age, I mean, the teenagers or students, if they are too much reliant onto the agentic AI or products or tools, and working on their PowerPoints for their school assignments, or going through ChatGPT and all these engines to get answers, correct answers, I would say, although those may be hallucinated, they may not be that much deeply aware of, but eventually the cognitive ability to think and make decisions, I've seen that that is actually degrading. It's slowly going down. What should be done from your perspective to be truly successful in this AI age?
Great question. I think this, I knowingly, unknowingly tell people, either my friends, family, there is an information overload, right? All these content, AI is one piece. Obviously AI creates a lot of content, and automatically, and the content creation has become far cheaper than what it used to be, and so the content overload has also become very high. But AI, or before AI, these shorts came in, this whatever came in, and they are actually killing your brain, right? And we had a study also in MIT where people who are doing vibe coding versus people who are hand coding, or people who were reading versus people who were using generative AI to respond and create reports and answers, there was brain damage, right? In which people uh, cognitive skills were down when they were using AI to do all their stuff, right? I strongly believe, I read and write, I strongly believe that cut down on AI is great. We are all excited. It gives you a lot of dopamine hit. But if you overuse it, if you depend on it, you should be the master of AI. You should not be the slave of AI. What people are doing is they're becoming master. I tell to my team also that if you are not going to do a role of a checker, then AI is the master. You are not the master, right? If you have to be the master, you need to tell AI what it needs to do, how much it needs to do. You check the content, you pass it. That's how you delegate your work. You cannot just left it run and then it will become the master of you. So become the master of AI, run your life, consume content, but consume content holistically. All these shorts and memes, whatever you are consuming on a daily basis just to give small dopamine hits, are killing your brain, right? Uh, Read more, right? Nowadays reading is more important. Help your mind solve problems, right? I strongly believe, this is my belief, when the industrial revolution came about in 1900s, people before that used to do a lot of farming, right?
Right.
And they used to work with hands. Nowadays people take proud that I have six pack, this, that, blah, blah. But if you go 100 years or 200 years, or go to villages today also, everybody will have six packs,
Right.
right? They don't go and take special diet and this and that. A lot of athletes from Haryana, and we have seen a lot of small age workers now, they have videos which they all have six packs,
Correct.
which is a common thing. The industrial revolution gave us a lot of comfort. They took away all the hard work from us. Hence, there was an advent of a gym. And everybody then went back to gym in their free time to ensure that their health is okay.
Right.
They have strength in their body, they have muscles. I think there is going to be a time when this mental gyms will come around, because we will leave so much to AI,
Yeah.
so much for it to be done by an AI, that mentally you don't have to do anything, right? And these things will be subscription based or become very common for people who are lazy. So people who are still doing their jogs, their runs, and whatever it is, they don't need to go to gym as of today. They don't take gym subscription. They are health aware. They sleep on time, eat on time. They go for their own exercises. They don't need to subscribe to a gym to make sure they have enough strength in their body. Same will happen in future. If people who leave mental exercises, they stop reading, they stop solving problems, right? They just go ahead on a binge watch every now and then, and watch shorts and watch this, watch that, and leave everything to AI for them to do, not even write a single line. They will have a problem, and they will have to subscribe to a mental gym in future. uh, so it's a great warning. I tell people, stop consuming a lot of content, because you are going to become brain dead. If you consume, use AI, and let it be master of your life.
Very true. I mean, such a deep thought and a message here, because even from the physical side, if you see the usage of keyboards, people are, I mean, rarely writing using the pen and paper. And the youngsters who are now on the keyboards, it's so difficult for them, and they have such a poor handwriting. Or I would say their fingers pain when they are writing for like even for 5 minutes. So that's equally going to happen mentally as well. So spot on. Uh, Gaurav, one, I mean, this is a creative thought, but
Okay.
wanted to get your views about it. I mean, do you think this could happen or this would happen? So we have few silo projects, and I was just joining these projects together. So there is one project which is this Neuralink,
Mm-hmm.
and there is this those uh, AI robots that are there. There is another
Humanoids.
projects, and there is connectivity. There is this Willow chip and the processing and everything. So combining all this together, what if uh, a Neuralink implant is implanted to a normal person, and that is linked to LLM engines? So I would completely be off my thinking, and uh, I would just similar to those Terminator movies, the realistic one where I could just think and get those things like those Google
Yeah, yeah.
glasses. It would be just coming back into my neurons, and I would be having those answers and thinking. Do you think that would happen,
It
or
will
that could
happen.
happen? Yeah.
No, no. Could for sure. Could for sure. That means you will have 20 years down the line. Elon Musk continues to say there are experiments when people are uh, below the neck, paralyzed, and because of skeleton issues, because of whatever the nerve issues, they are able to do stuff by using Neuralinks. There are experiments Elon Musk has done for 8 or 10 guys till date,
Right.
and they're able to. But those paralyzed guys are able to do stuff on a daily basis. So that communication he's trying to increase. It is called BCT, and he's trying to increase the BCT by amplifying it and going more deep inside our brain signals. Um, there's I think about probability, there's 70% chance that we will use it on our daily life, in which you don't need to remember stuff. everything. There is a chip which is on your shoulder or your neck or whatever it is, and it can be an implant which can talk to a cloud compute, like you said, for all the information gathering and all. But I think there's a physical part too, and the risk involved in implanting that chip. Yet maybe in 20 years down the line it may be very low. Right now we have all our watches, which gives a lot of data for our health.
Right.
It might in future happen that there is a watch which connects you to a cloud compute for a lot of information, and it directly signals to your nerves for all the information you want to retrieve. I think that is fair, but will that become make you a superhuman? I think superhuman, we are already there in terms of. I understand we don't have a brain implant, but our mobile, our watches, um, Ray-Ban has launched a glass, right?
Right.
Let's say I'm looking at you and I can profile you, I can profile anybody, I can understand, I can get talk to that glass and get all the information, whatever I want. Today also I can have a headphone and I can talk to that headphone and get all the information I want by communicating, right?
Correct.
Will my brain be able to process more than what I can communicate? Question for future. Even if I get that network of BCT which can give me information at, let's say, light speed, but will I be able to consume and make sense of it? That is important, right? I think today also we are superhumans in a way. We have got a lot of information with all the generative AI coming in, Agentic AI coming in at our tips. In future, obviously, Elon Musk obviously starts from helping humans who are paralyzed and people who are diseased. Um, will it become the mainstay for people to add them to make them more powerful? It's a question for future. Um, uh, Chances of 70%, but will it make us superhuman? We are already there in terms of information gathering and solutioning, and humanoid especially. One exciting part is today everybody has a mental model, everybody has system thinking. You might think differently than what I think, you have different constraints than what I have, everybody has that. You can start modeling your brains in a foundation model if you wish to. More decision making, more your life memory, right? All people around you, all your influences, all your families, all your friends, how do you behave, or what your I've seen a lot of people talking to ChatGPT and getting their personal psychiatrist kind of a behavior solution for your personal
Right.
problems, right? uh, Once the model understands you and it becomes your brain, and it is not very far off, and a humanoid which is available at $20,000 maybe, right? Or cheaper than that. Like in Chinese ones are like $1,000, $10,000, something very cheap. Unitree is selling at maybe $5,000. We just need that decision making mental model which you carry forward with a lot of information which you carry forward to be implanted to that humanoid, right? And he can take decisions on your behalf, provided that you provide guardrails and constraints to it. uh, this is very much feasible. Not even 20 years, it is like
True.
4 5 years. I strongly believe in that. And this is a superpower.
Indeed.
Because humanoids don't have emotions, don't have empathy, they don't have pain. They can go to any extent. Humans cannot. Humans have
Correct.
pain, humans have this, and humans have that. They won't get tired. They have no fatigue, right? So they'll go for in and out. You wanted to do some tasks, everybody has lack of time, we get fatigue, we get lack of this, lack of that, but humanoids can't. And if they have your decision model, mental model, they can do your job 10,000 times better, unlimited times, right? Without you being involved, right? So that will be a super powerful being, a superhuman being, which is as equal as you, if you provide your mental models to
Indeed.
that.
Indeed. You touched upon the point that the AI and I mean currently doesn't have those emotions and empathy. So I mean I may be naive, but wanted to get your views around like uh, the hallucination when it happens. People term it as hallucination, but I was like, many a times it happens, and with some of the uh, engines it's better, but the other ones it's quite prominent. When one of the instance was when I was just feeding in some information and asking to process it in a particular manner. For example, I was asking ChatGPT to create a kind of a video, let's
Mm.
say, and it didn't have that capability at back then. So it was giving me false links, continuous. It was giving me those false links, and when I asked like why you are giving me false link and those are dead links, it answered to me that you were pressurizing me so much that I had no answer. I wanted to serve you. I wanted to help you out. So sorry, I was that way. So then I read more. The term that I got was hallucination, but I felt that it's not hallucination. It's much more dangerous. That if these engines have this kind of thought process, the way you interact with them uh, could be I mean could be disastrous as well.
So, okay, that behavior is a bias. So,
Hmm.
every AI model, foundation model, are built with certain biases. Um, if you remember, Sam Altman had to apologize for, um, I think, 4.5 or some OpenAI model, where it was biased to be more optimistic, right? Um, Sometime back, Gemini Sundar Pichai had to bias because it was biased to be more inclusive.
Hmm.
Means when it was told to create pictures of World War veterans, it started creating pictures of Africans, and because it wanted to become more inclusive, right?
Yeah.
These are the biases being introduced in the algorithms. So when it gave you an answer, when it has no answer, it was not trained to create a video, right? It started still giving you an answer because it was biased to serve you, right? Um, Hallucination means that you know nothing, but you still try to answer.
Hmm.
That is where the basic meaning of hallucination is. Um, Lack of knowledge or untrained behaviors, if they still try to serve for certain cause, is hallucination, right? They don't say no, right? I agree that you felt it is going more, bit more, because for you it will look like if it didn't know, why didn't it say no?
Correct.
Humans will say no. You ask somebody, okay, can you speak English? He'll say yes or no. Can you speak German? No, right? But if it is biased that, okay, uh, you go and talk to a depressed guy or a person, a jailmate, he has been always told to say yes to you.
Correct.
Even if he knows no German, even if he knows no French, he'll always say yes.
Right.
This
Right.
is the behavior
Right.
I'm trying to say,
Right.
right?
Right.
This is, you can tell that he's hallucinating because he know nothing, right?
Correct.
But the problem, the bigger problem, what you touched upon is about the wisdom, right? The clarity from the chaos, right? I think this is one interesting topic. I'm right now reading about it, right? Where people will have to think about consciousness, people will have to think about post AI world, where people will have to understand that all their regular decision making, regular mental models, like we had given up all our hard work to machines, now we have to give away all the decision and knowledge work to machines again. This is the second revolution, I would say, right? Then we will go into a world of abundance,
Hmm.
right? uh, See, like I said, if humanoid can do without fatigue 10,000 better decisions and solutions than me or you, uh, why should I repeat the same work? I should do some more creative work. I should do more conscious work. I should do betterment for the society, right? This is a topic of interest because post AI world, which is going to happen, there is no doubt about it. In my mind and in anybody's mind, that there is going to be a post AI world.
Hmm.
What a machines cannot do is being conscious. What a machine cannot do is being with the wisdom, right? uh, Bringing a lot more clarity, right? So it will take a lot of time. They can repeat the decisions you take under certain conditions or guardrails or constraints, but they cannot become conscious, right? um, this is something which a lot of us should learn about. as a human society, we are all supposed to take the consciousness forward. We
Mm-hmm.
are all supposed to work towards building society better, right? Uh, and this is what our ancient folks in their ancient wisdom has said across religion, uh, across spirituality, that we all should go towards better society, better conscious society, and help each other.
Right.
So this is something which a machine cannot learn and do, and uh, this is a great topic I'm exploring right now, post AI
Wonderful.
world.
Wonderful, wonderful. I would be very interested. I mean, curious to get insights, first-hand insights from
Sure.
you. I mean, curiosity is striking me interacting with you like anything. I mean, so many creative thoughts are coming in. So, I mean, just imagine from maybe it's there. You may be aware of. So, do we have a kind of a chat GPT of dark web? I mean, if that is being trained on dark web engines, I mean, over a completely open, because right now we have surface web which and people interacting, there is, does anything like that exist? Because if that exists, that would be dangerous.
Yeah, I've not come across. I've not come across, but I won't be surprised as well.
Mhm.
Um, we always think that we have got a lot more power, but I would say that there's a lot more power and uh, incentive in the dark web or the other side,
Right.
right, to do all this. Um, there would be, obviously it will not appear on the surface, because if some things appear on the surface, all our networking and all our big agencies, CIAs and FBIs of the world, will try to stop it.
Correct.
But under a lot more constraints, you will suddenly get a password or a link by which, using which you will be able to interact like what we interact with ChatGPT for surface web.
True.
uh, I won't be surprised that it doesn't exist. It would exist. It is just that it is hard for us humans to go around that. You need to continue to knock certain doors to become part of that group, to get access to that,
Indeed.
right? Um, and a lot more servers would be running. I know that um, Russians and North Korean servers, they continue to run and mine bitcoins, and all these websites going down and attacks. When we had Operation Sindoor,
Mhm.
there were a lot of attacks on
Correct.
Jio Telecom as well as our infrastructure, because we are a national infrastructure, right?
Indeed.
Compared to like we had our army websites being attacked and things like that. So these are all incentivized attacks, right? For us to be shown dark, or us to be shown in the black light in front of the world, right? And Pakistan to claim a victory. So I am sure all these exist, just that we are not trying to use it. We might have to, it might be under certain mysterious gates, and
Mhm.
those mysterious gates have to be knocked by certain passwords, and we will get access to it. So, yeah.
That would be exciting indeed. Yeah. And Gaurav, from the CIOs and CISOs currently who are leading the organizations, 5 years down the line, because I see a lot of the responsibilities and uh, I would say the complete racy that is there for CIOs, that is there from networks, infrastructure, management, likewise from CISOs as well, security, data observability, and all of those. So we have AI there. So how CIOs of today and CISOs of today evolve, adopt AI, and be abreast with the knowledge so that they would still be using AI and not AI using them.
As I said, you should become master of AI, not the slave of AI, right? You should know how to use AI to your advantages, how to amplify your decision making, because we take a lot of repeated decision making. I use a lot of AI,
Mhm.
right? Not just for clarifying my doubts, not just for understanding new concepts, but also to understand relationships, also to understand the problems. A lot of times we have human related problem, right? We are trying to solve a problem either inside or outside with human behaviors. And I can use AI to understand those behaviors. A lot of times I don't understand those behaviors. A lot of time I don't understand new age generations, right? Where I have to solve for it. So I think not just technical problems you can solve non-technical problems. At the end of it, if you are at a CIO or a CISO, that level, you are more responsible for the culture than just the technology, right? I'm sure there are your L1s and L2s who are actually driving the technology and ensuring that the last mile technology is the best. You are making decisions for them to be helped and empowered. You are ensuring there is a good culture. You are hiring the good talent, right? These are the basic things you do as a CIO and CISOs, right? People can say that I actually go and man everything, but you have for that L1s and L2s, right? Unless you groom them, give them right culture, it won't happen. AI definitely helps everywhere. Uh, to which was not an understood concepts. We used to read books like Emotional Intelligence when you become the CEOs and the CIOs, but those books are now readily available for certain situations. You can question, interact. Deepak Chopra used to write books on how to become the greatest leader. Now that is readily available for you to learn and interact and have a decision model, mental model of either Naval Ravikant or Deepak Chopra,
Right.
or think fast, think slow, anything you wish, right? It is readily available right now. It is up to people to use it or not to use it. I feel people who are CIOs and CXOs or who want to become CIOs and CXOs should use it, must use it, empower them, become the master of AI, not the slave of AI, and use them as much as possible.
Great thought, Gaurav. Let me come down to short answer, rapid fire questions, but not a. You may use couple of words, more words, or even elaborate, but it's all up to you. One question, which is about generative AI or agentic AI, which will have bigger operational impact in next 5 years,
Agentic AI.
and which is the most overhyped cybersecurity trend right now that you see?
I think the overhyped cybersecurity trend is people looking at dashboards for MTTR and all. People should start looking for your control planes. You should start securing identities. That is more important than looking at MTTR and those dashboards.
Indeed. And if you could eliminate one manual IT task forever, what would that be?
Password reset.
True, true. And describe the future of telecom industry in one word.
Smart networks.
Wonderful. And what is the best piece of leadership advice you ever received from anyone?
Always read, always learn.
Wonderful. And with that advice, I mean, I don't want to close this, but yeah, with respect to time, let me come down to the final point. So, what would be one deep, thoughtful message for our viewers? And our viewers are the CIOs and CISOs and cybersecurity technology leaders, and also aspiring aspirants from students' perspective as well. So, what would be your message?
So I think people should start learning and reading more, exercise their mind more than what they used to do. uh, CIOs and CXOs use AI not just to solve their regular work, for the behavioral analytics, for solving human. Students to start having a discipline. Don't be anxious. Uh, Keep learning more, and there is a lot more things coming your way. Uh, all these automations, humanoids, Starlink, space exploration is going to open up a Pandora's box. We are going to a world which will grow faster than what we have grown in last 200 years.
Indeed.
So I strongly believe that this is a great time for CIO CXAs to learn, or students to learn, uh, and be disciplined about it, right? And not just use uh, for small solutions. Use the technology to the greatest possible extent. uh, I think the person who can master this trend or master this AI will be the future leader. Those who consider themselves as slave and they get into this slavery of AI, they will have a hard time in future.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
Great thought to close this podcast. In fact, really interesting and insightful having you today, Gaurav. And
Thank you.
thanks for coming over. Really, I understand you have a hectic, busy schedule, but thanks for taking time out. We have been hoping to have a conversation for quite a long time.
Thanks, Aki. Thanks for the time you have given. I understand we wanted to talk for a long time, and I love the podcast. You're very comfortable. You go into the insights of everything, right? And I have been watching your podcast a lot. So I think it's a great learning platform for a lot of people, especially the young students, to how to become a new age leader, and also the leaders, how what they can gather from what the other leaders are doing. Thanks for having this platform.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope you liked today's podcast. Do share your comments and subscribe to the channel. And this is the latest book that Gaurav has written. It's available on Amazon. You can order it from there. I got a free complimentary copy. So I'll be reading it now. And do share your comments after reading the book as well. Thank you.